You came. You finally came. Those three words. That's all it said. And from that night forward, Nabil's life was never the same again. Subscribe right now. Turn on notifications. Because what you're about to hear isn't something I made up. This is real. This happened. And by the time we reach the end, you'll understand why I'm still thinking about the last thing Nabil said to me. Let's begin. Nabil was 17. 4 close friends. A simple plan. Backyard barbecue at his place. Food, charcoal, cigarettes they hid from their parents. A perfectly ordinary teenage night. Then one friend needed the bathroom. The washroom was tucked in the corner of the courtyard. Old wooden door that didn't reach the ceiling, leaving a gap at the top. From inside, sitting down, you had a clear sight line straight over the door and out toward the neighboring rooftop. His friend came back pale, shaking. There's something on that roof, crouched at the edge, looking directly down at us. Everyone looked. The neighboring house was dark, abandoned, had been for years. They saw nothing. But that's exactly what made it worse. Because he had seen something, clearly, certainly, and now it was simply gone. It knew it had been seen, and it moved. That neighboring house had a reputation. Years ago, a young woman had died there. Alone. The details were always spoken in fragments, never fully, never directly. What the whole neighborhood understood, without saying plainly, was that her life had been a dark one, that she had been involved in things people didn't name out loud. She died in that house. And after she died, the house changed. Sounds at night. Movement on the rooftop when no one should have been there. The feeling of being watched when walking past after dark. Families moved away from nearby properties one by one. The house stayed empty. Not because of money, not because of legal issues, because nobody wanted to be near it. And Nabil's courtyard shared a wall with it. The next day, Nabil and one friend sat on his rooftop talking about the previous night. That's when they noticed how easy it would be to cross over. The boundary between the two rooftops was barely a step, and there on the neighboring roof, a small upper room with a warped wooden window, half separated from its frame. "We should go in," his friend said, "just to see." Nabil said no. He had a feeling he couldn't name, deep and formless and insistent. The kind your body understands before your brain catches up. His friend laughed. 5 minutes, that's all. That night, flashlight in hand, streets quiet, they crossed. Inside, the air was wrong. Dense, unmoved, like it had been sitting in that house for years, accumulating everything a space accumulates when something terrible has happened and nobody ever came to clear it out. They moved down the hallway, old furniture, peeling walls, absolute silence. Then, scratch from a door to their left. Slow, rhythmic, deliberate, like fingernails drawn carefully down the inside of the wood. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Not an animal, not the house settling. The sound of something that knew They were standing right there. Nabil grabbed his friend's arm. "We are leaving." Then the second sound began. A moan, low and grief soaked, and deeply, fundamentally wrong. It filled the hallway slowly. Then it got louder. Then it shaped itself into something aimed, something directed specifically at the two of them. His friend raised his voice into the dark. "Who's there?" Then a voice, low, layered, impossible to place, with a second layer just behind.
"You came. You finally came."
They ran. No decision, no discussion, pure instinct. Back through the window, across the rooftop, into the house. Nabil was shaking so badly he dropped the flashlight somewhere in that hallway. He never went back for it. Nabil told himself it would pass. It didn't. Within a week, chest tightness waking him at 2 a.m. Physical, pressing, like something sitting directly on him. 3 doctors, every test clean, perfectly healthy. Go home and rest. He went home. He didn't rest. He stopped talking, stopped going out, stopped returning calls. His mother watched him at dinner with that specific look mothers get when they know something is wrong but don't yet know what they're dealing with. Then the dream started. The same girl, every single night. Never showing her face fully, always slightly turned away, always at the edge of shadow, standing at the foot of his bed, by the window, in the corner, still watching. He'd wake up certain she'd just been there. Room always empty. 3 months of this. 3 months of slow, quiet collapse. Then came the night on the rooftop. After dinner, alone, cigarette, his back to the abandoned house. He felt it before anything else. A weight in the air behind him, pressure between his shoulder blades. That ancient, absolute certainty. Something is standing directly behind me. He turned around. She was tall, extremely tall, standing completely still, close enough that he should have heard breathing. He heard nothing. The world had gone completely silent. And her legs were wrong. Impossibly thin, not human thin, bird thin, long and angular, jointed in ways his eyes kept refusing to process, sliding off the image like it couldn't be held. She was on his rooftop, looking directly at him. Nabil screamed. He doesn't remember the stairs. He remembers the kitchen floor and his mother's face above him, and every single thing from the past 3 months pouring out of him all at once. His family finally knew. They found a spiritual healer. He looked at Nabil carefully and said, "Something attached to your son when he entered that house. He disturbed it, and now it considers him claimed." Offerings on the abandoned rooftop. Specific nights. Nabil had to do it alone every time. He went every designated night, always feeling watched from just outside his vision. Never in front, always behind, always at the edge. A second healer was found when things didn't improve. His assessment was worse. It's not only on your son anymore, it's inside your house. 2 days later, clothing appeared in Nabil's brother's wardrobe. Belonged to nobody in the family. Old fabric, dark stains soaked through, blood. The second healer's intervention led to an agreement. 5 kilograms of raw chicken left on the abandoned roof every Thursday, done by Nabil's hands, alone. He kept to it, and then his family started noticing something happening at night. Nabil's door would open, footsteps on the stairs, slow, even, absent. His mother would follow, watch from the staircase, and she would see her son sitting cross legged on the roof in the dark, eating all 5 kilograms. Alone, mechanically, his eyes open but completely absent, looking at something nobody else could see. By morning, agony, hospital, tests clean, every single time. Nabil tried to end his life during this period, more than once. This wasn't an adventure. This was a 17-year-old boy who walked through one wrong window on one ordinary night and paid for it across months of deterioration until he couldn't recognize himself anymore. He told me, I couldn't tell which thoughts were mine. I stopped being able to find where I ended and it began. Eventually, through time, distance, faith, things became more manageable. Not finished, not over, manageable. Nabil moved abroad, studies now, has a life that looks ordinary from the outside. But just before we stopped talking, he sent me one last message. I still feel her sometimes. Late at night, when everything goes quiet, the air changes, just slightly. I don't turn around anymore. I've learned, you just don't turn around. Some stories have endings. This one doesn't. Not yet. If this stayed with you, if the room feels slightly different right now than when you pressed play, then you know exactly what this channel is. Subscribe, notifications on. Next week, a phone call received from a number disconnected for 4 years. The person on the other end knew things they had no way of knowing. Leave a comment. Have you ever felt that weight, something behind you that you couldn't explain? I read every single one. Stay safe. Keep the lights on. See you in the next one.